finish as fast as possible. So it's very easy to miss, but we'll try and keep it as accurate as possible. What are you hoping for with the seed? Any predictions, wishes, desires?
I was watching a VOD earlier of pretty much a jet seed, and that was pretty interesting. But I'm hoping for something a little more, I guess, robust.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I like it when it's nice and relaxed, not a big rush to the finish line.
Yeah, more of like a kind of a puzzly seed where you got to find something in one dungeon to find the keys for that dungeon. Maybe a bit trolly, but just to keep the players on their toes.
In Sanctuary, we found the big key of Ice Palace. Won't be relevant for quite a while, but always a nice find before you go into Ice Palace, that big key. You don't actually need it to complete the dungeon if you use sequence breaks, but getting the big chest is a load off your mind. Oh no! Kepasagi got a bomb drop and then it just vanished like dust in the wind.
Very important to take note of where you can get bombs and rupees in early game, at least.
Movellandrone actually opting to go straight to Kakariko from Sanctuary. It's pretty rare. Usually players would like to find a bomb drop before they come here just because of so many bombable walls and such. Oh, locked himself out of one of those chests? Nope. There we go. Taking an interesting path to solving this puzzle. Threw me for a loop. Did he? Yeah, he did. Okay. Something wrong. Is this the same seed as the other race going on right now? It should not be. This is a different race entirely.
Yeah, typically, if there are 4 players you see on screen, they're generally playing on the same stage just to make it less confusing. But if they're separate, usually they want the players to all be using separate seeds. Each race to be using separate seeds, with the 2 racers you see here having the same everything.
Very, very interesting item in the Lumberjack Cave, a big key. Will we need that? Will we not need that?
It's wonderful, so they can get that big chest in Swamp Palace.
Oh, well, let's see here. Small key to Dark Palace. The crab item, very
someone's
nice
gonna scramble for that. Ooh, what is it?
It is bombs, which is just
nice.
Amazing. Oh, and there's some bombs in the forest too.
That'll save them 50 rupees. Typically, if they don't get any bombs really before Kakariko Village, they usually opt to go like all the way across the village to the south side and pick up some bombs in the shop there for 50 rupees. But not having to spend those rupees and not having to waste all that time walking back and forth, it's really convenient.
Oh, absolutely. There was a sword in the Thieves' Hideout. Another really useful item, especially early. The earlier, the better. This is another easy way to get bombs early on. As you see Mobel picking up the bushes, there's a 50-50 chance of finding bombs underneath of some of those. Can make coming up here from the south side very convenient.
Yeah, there are a lot of locations where you could pick up 50-50 chance at bomb drops. There's a couple of bushes by the grove. There's one in Kakariko itself. There are a few rocks that you need the gloves to pick up, but there are some of those as well.
Having knowledge of all those spots can be very, very beneficial. And what do we have in the race game? A blue mail. Calls it trash. I guess it's like a trash bag. Though it's a very, very sturdy trash bag.
I like whenever the sick kid has clothes. It's like, here, I'm too sick to wear clothes today. You can have my clothes.
Oh no, he's getting all hot from the fever. I don't know if I put that on, but then again, you gotta take what you can get.
Noticing a lot of times in Keysanity, people are often just gambling that the race game is going to have something instead of checking it first, because the Overworld has a lot more stuff now that the keys have been released into the wild.
It's a very good point. Because of all the keys, all the big keys, there's a very high chance that the item in the the race game will be useful. So sometimes it's better just to skip checking it and then running up when you need it. But we found the moon pearl in the chicken shack.
That's one piece of a very important puzzle.
Dark World access, of course. You can't actually do much in Dark World without the moon pearl. Movell opting to farm some bombs from this little supply shack back here, which is seemingly necessary because not getting a lot of money this seed.
And that tends to be the way with Keysanity as well, because there can be so much more item-wise in dungeons, and so many of the dungeon items being inside the or outside the dungeons in the out in the world. That tends to mean all the rupees are locked away somewhere, like inside dungeons that you need items for. It kind of revived the Houlihan strats to get into a room via some uh, was it a screen misalignment?
Something like that. Of course, the Houlihan glitch drops you in a room with quite a few rupees, so it's not often used and open, but in Keysanity can be very, very useful, as you said, for that early game money. We have a early escape check. He did get that sword in the forest, so this should be a piece of cake.
What I love about Keysanity especially is that there's so much more value in knowledge you kind of take for granted in open and standard seeds that you just open the map up and you know exactly where you need to go and where you don't need to go just based on the crystal appearing, and that's it's not doable until they get quite a few maps and various NPCs that can tell you where things are.
All the crystal pendant icons on the map are hidden in Keysanity, of course, if you did not know that. They don't show up on the map until you find the map for the respective dungeon. If you go into the dungeon and you think, well, I'm just going to use the music to figure that out, well, that doesn't quite work, unfortunately, as the music is randomized as well.
Yeah, I love that because there's a higher chance of good music being played in the dungeons.
We find a big key to Eastern Palace in one of the chests in Escape.
I'm just kidding. The crystal music isn't so bad. It's just when that's 8 of the 11 dungeons music, it gets kind of old.
Just a little bit, yeah. Ooh. Zelda's chest having 300 rupees. That's very, very nice.
Oh yeah.
And we have Kepasagi making their way down here to the dam. All the items down here in South Shore are very tempting. Or are they going to Desert? No, they're not. That would be crazy.
Of course, it's very nice to get a lot of rupees early on. Unfortunately, in this particular seed, they don't have logical access to Zora yet. They can do a fake flippers trick to get everything in that area, but the logic wouldn't put their next progression item there. It could, however, put their progression item later down the line.
That is very true. And with the Moon Pearl, the fake flipper also becomes a little bit more attractive because with the Moon Pearl you can get into the Waterfall of Wishing. If you don't have it, then you just swim on the ground forever, and it's real silly.
Taking a little mud bath, basically.
Alright, here's Mini Moldorm Cave. Oh, down to 1 heart. This can be a very deceptively hard area, just because of, you're usually doing this when you have low amounts of hearts. The pits do 1 full heart of damage, no matter what. And they like to knock you into them, as their daddy does. And the worst part about taking damage in this cave is that you're going to be walking near some very aggressive crabs soon that do 2 hearts full of damage.
It's 1 heart with the blue mail that they managed to luck out and find early on, but still, Kepasagi only has that 1 heart currently.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it looks like a Movel. I'm just gonna call him Movel. Movel took a death warp to get back up here to check this chest in the dark room. And yes,
I'm not so sure that was...
Was that?
I'm not so sure that was intended.
Really?
I think it was in the second blue guard room.
Well, he made it look really intentional because he's up here now.
Fun fact about that castle basement, that where he died, there shouldn't logically be any progression in there yet, because it actually requires a castle key in order to not lock yourself if you decide for some reason to take the guard's key and use it in the dark room in the escape.
That's a very, very good point. The game, the way the logic's set up, will try to prevent that as best it can. There have been a few mistakes here and there where key locks can happen, but it's never intended, and the game will usually prevent you from doing that no matter what anyway. Here we have the Ice Rod Cave. Probably won't have the Ice Rod today. Just a big 20. Well, it looks like you're right. Movel's coming back down here. Well, he is going to want that 300 rupees for sure, so...
Yeah, that's not bad to have. It's not really calling out to him just yet, but just to have that insurance. Even if you don't go to Zora, you still need a lot of rupees to pay off Kiki to get into the Palace of Darkness, and you might want a few extra for the digging game and the chest game in Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, quite a few things in this game require you to pay. The blacksmiths, as you, the Kiki the monkey, of course, as you mentioned.
Oddly, although the smiths do charge, they will still give you an item if you don't have enough.
Well, that's real generous of them.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's the only situation in the game where that's the case.
Movel's trying to play this safe. And they get their chest for the trouble. And then in Cicerola's hut, we had the Power Glove.
Really interesting palm strat right there with the guard.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Power Glove does put Zora in the logic now, so something to keep in mind. Going to head into Eastern.
I just noticed that was the eastern big key in the castle as well. It's pretty important.
Yep, he'll be able to get all of the items in here except for the one that Armos is holding. So, coming here while you're checking Sarashla is a pretty good idea, I would say.
Is technically a logical sequence break, but since that castle key could be pretty much anywhere, you'll want to check that anyway.
And there's some flips.
It's funny, there's a lot of difference in like what's a wise routing choice and what is technically in the logic. For instance, Meyer small keys are never required, but the logic needs to put all the Meyer small keys somewhere accessible. And Kepasagi, yeah, that closes the loop for his sequence break with big flippers earlier.
Yeah, well, he got another 300 rupees in here, so might head up to Zora very shortly. As soon as he's done here, I would assume. Movell making the same play on Eastern. They'll be very happy. Ooh, there's Ether. Yep, Keysanity is usually, I would say, a lot of items up front, and the keys are what you need to hunt for. Would you say that was an accurate statement?
Yeah, I think so. The items open up a lot of the world, and since the randomizer is kind of designed just to put things pretty much, well, I don't know like what order it kind of pulls from, but it tends to put things pretty much anywhere and just creates logical chains based on that. So things are typically placed late game as well as early game, just to give you a nice flow of evenly distributed important items.
Question in chat: if I wanted to do this myself, just casually, do I need to know any glitches like bomb jump or hover? No. The logic will never assume you have to do any minor glitches like fate flippers or bomb jumps. It will never make you do a dark room, so lantern will always be accessible before those.
Yeah, it's very, very beginner friendly. Much more so than any other randomizer I've seen personally.
Yep. I think your biggest problem if you're trying to do this casually would just be knowledge of where all the vanilla keys are in pots and such. Just general game knowledge, nothing like speedrun tech. As far as completing the game goes, of course.
And there are some... this is using the Japanese 1.0 version of the game. However, a lot of the important things are translated and just given extra flavor text in some cases. So,
Yep.
like, there are examples like the sign right outside Bumper Cave that informs you that you don't need the hook shot to get through Bumper Cave.
You can just hug that wall on the top and it'll let you walk there. Opting to the back of escape and finding the flute and the big key of Turtle Rock. Well, I love me some flute. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, it's very, very helpful when you're erasing. The earlier you find that, the better.
Oh yeah, that cuts off so much time. Just saving yourself from walking here and there, everywhere. A guard taking a break in that bush. I always find that hilarious when they're just like hiding in bushes or like on the ankle-high grass somehow.
Yeah. Or you're looking at it from the top down, it might be a bigger lump if you were in first-person view.
So it's really long grass, but it's like laid out like a blanket. Is that it?
Maybe.
Oh boy.
And he kind of slashes like across his body with the sword. It's not like bending over and cutting it along the ground.
All right. Fluid activated. He did pick up a bottle, so he's going to check on Sick Kid while he's here. What you got today? Big
Yeah.
20.
And sometimes if you're going through gas, cutting things up, you'll find wild Pokemon.
This is true. The
Like
chest
in
that...
swamp area.
Yeah. Kepasagi opted to skip the vanilla big key chest, I believe, in Eastern Palace, and it had the desert small key. That's not in the logic right now. I don't know what Movel's doing.
That's
not
gonna
gonna
be
get
really
really...
useful. The desert small key is, I find especially interesting because it is possible to sequence break the key door in desert just by going to the back and stealing a key from a pot.
That is something you can do. It's a bit risky, though.
Yeah,
At least in Keysanity. Since if the other small key that you need to complete, if desert's required, in the other small key is in a really obtuse place, that can make you lose time rather than save it.
Mm-hmm. It won't necessarily soft lock you, but it can send you on a possibly unnecessary key chase.
Alright, we have the Zora error check now. Ooh. Ooh! It's a nice rod and a red cane. So if your
Wow.
wish was a turtle rock, 2 steps close to being granted. Oh, another big key on the ledge. Well, at least he has flippers, so you'll be able to get that. Won't have to worry. Okay, we have Mobile coming back here to get his flute, and Zora spits out a key. To Misery Mire. The wrong kind of key for Misery Mire, unfortunately. Whoa, whoa. Well, well, well. Speak of the devil. Yeah, and Misery Mire could be on the table soon too, if Ether is the pendant. All they need is the Titan's Mitts, and they can get there.
Yeah,
Maybe,
and they can use the hookshot to get in.
Still missing the lamp to actually complete it as far as the logic is concerned, but who knows where that is?
What I'm wondering is when are they gonna find those castle tower keys in boots to get access to the lumberjack tree?
Yep. Still need Master Sword or Cape and Lantern to actually get up to Aga, but that is a big key there. It could definitely be the big key.
It's interesting how that's looking like it's gonna be a late game required Aghanim.
Yep, they might be fighting Aghanim 1 and then Aghanim 2 in quick succession, depending on how the cards lay on the table.
That's true. That could actually wind up being the Ganon's Tower big key.
Alright, 2 small keys to Ganon's Tower. And there's the mitts! So that's Dark World access.
Still missing a hammer for Turtle Rock, but Myra's on the table still.
Yep. Seemed real tempting to go there, just check it out, but we have all this stuff on Death Mountain first, and Dark Death Mountain as well, now that we have the mitts. Can't actually get to Tower of Hera quite yet, because no hammer, but they could Hookshot Cave, check the Turtle Rock pendant. Quite a few things still have to do up here.
Yeah, more gathering of knowledge. You're gonna probably see a key up on did we already see what was up on Skyloft?
We did, it was just a big 20.
Okay.
Taking the Walk of Shame around Spiral Cave.
Yeah, that location has been more lucrative as well with the Keysanity.
Well, let's see what we got here. Ooh, you were not kidding. That is a really good item.
Wow.
Well, this seed's like super wide open right now. It's awesome. Oh, are you leaving? But you still got stuff to do here. Where are you going? Oh no. So in normal randomizer, that would probably be the final nail in the coffin for Aga finding Hammer, but this is Keysanity. There could still be 2 required items in Aga Tower, and that big key could be required as well. You're never safe.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Kepasagi didn't just go straight. Well, I guess I'm not that surprised that he didn't dive into Turtle Rock without Fire Rod, but I don't know, maybe I'm a little disappointed, let's say.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say, no, don't do that when you have a Hookshot Cave to check as well. Even getting the information on the pendant, not the pendant, the medallion required is extremely useful. But opting to come here to Meyer, it is the 6 crystal, so you'll have to do this at some point.
There's very few players who are comfortable with the Meyer Darkroom.
Yeah, it's the hardest one in the game, no doubt. Thankfully, he won't have to worry about that right now, because Bombos is the medallion to get in for Mr. Meyer.
I think fewer players know Aghanim's Tower, but that's so rarely useful. It might actually wind up coming into play later on in the tournament, though, with the higher potential of an item being locked in there.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Alright, Kepasagi, come back here to get scammed by the bottle vendor. Thank you, goodbye. That's why you gotta be careful where you invest your money.
Put it in gold!
Gold items are pretty good in Zelda. Alright, he opted to come over here to the Thieves' Town area. Not a bad decision. Tons of stuff to do over here, And there's quite a few items in Thieves Town. Oh, he's out of bombs.
Yeah, luckily bush crabs have bombs, right?
Yeah, they do. There's no bush crabs in Dark World, but there's a bush right next to the shed. The top leftmost one. If you slash it, there's a
Yeah,
chance
the
there's a
one you
bomb in
bomb.
there. And there's the Master Sword.
Saves it for later, I guess.
Sadly, it cannot blow up walls, so it doesn't help him right this second.
You might as well just dive into Thieves Down, and there's a chance you'll find a 3-bomb drop.
Yeah, I agree.
Or
Opting to,
3 bombs from chest, yeah.
Yeah, or even just from an enemy. Opting to do the peg cave first. Big 20. Who left that down there?
Oh, that was my bad.
Oh. Be more careful with your money.
I was
Alright.
saving it up. I didn't want to spend it. I didn't want to invest in Bottle Vendor yet.
Alright, well, he's opting to come down here to the dig game instead of going to Thieves Town. I mean,
Marvel opting to buy bombs before diving into Dark World.
very wise, very wise. I guess this will let him swing down here to the bomb shop, talk to the bomb vendor, and buy bombs there, and then do a hype cave. Meanwhile, we have the other old man, the uninteresting one, with a very interesting item in his cave. Another sword. So they find master swords within just a minute of each other in different locations. You can't explain that.
And with a bottle of blue goo in the digging game's gonna provide some nice safety before they have to fight any bosses.
Oh yeah, blue goo is one of my favorite finds just for that. I don't know if I drank it when it's been buried in the ground for who knows how long. Master Sword does put us one step closer to getting into Agnes Tower. And actually does put the first chest in the logic. Which Movell is very hungry for. Taking the heathenous right side instead of the left side. Maybe this is for good luck. But yeah, the right side takes exactly the same amount of time as the left side. It just seems like it doesn't for some reason. Oh yeah, just obliterate them with those sword beams. Oh. Oh. Don't. Just bombs.
That'll be handy for Kepasagi.
Yeah. Forget what you're doing, Kepasagi. Go straight there. Get yourself some 3 bombs. Oh, he did not go to the bomb shop at Darkwing's house, did he? Huh. Well, he's going to be checking Turtle Rock now in this Dark Mountain goodness. And this first chest in Turtle Rock is in logic, but need Quake for it. So I take it back, it's not in logic quite yet. So Ether, the medallion we have, is 100% useless right now.
Wow.
Not that they'd have magic to use it, but oh well. A fiver, a 20. and a big heart container. Very disappointing hookshot cave. Now Aghanim is not dead yet. We still got that big key in the lumberjack cave, and who knows what that's to. Every big key we find that's not the Ganon's Tower big key is another tick up on the percentage that's required. Well, that was a really disappointing Dark Death Mountain. Yeah, I think you're done, Kepasagi. I don't think there's anything else here you can do.
Okay, so as far as big keys we don't need, I see Ice Palace and Thieves Town are pendants. Swamp and Skull don't need the big keys. I think that's it, isn't it? There's 4 big keys that could possibly be useless in Lumberjacks.
Yep. Of course, if there are items required in the Swamp Big Chest or whatever, who knows?
Indeed.
That's the joy of Keysanity. I put joy in like quotation marks with my fingers.
Yeah, and Thieves Town does have 4 items locked by the big key.
Mm-hmm. So Kepasagi is coming back here to dive into Thieves Town, I would think. Meanwhile, Movell getting all their small keys to Ganon's Tower. And I think a Misery Mire small key. Oh no, Titan Smiths, of course. That's way better.
Mm-hmm.
Something else we should keep in mind is once we find Bombust or the Fire Rod, Ice Palace suddenly becomes an option. There's an invincibility item, so
That's extra nice for blind if you're having trouble with him. You could just use that cane to do damage to him while being invincible.
Cane of Burn absolutely destroys blind. It also puts Spike Cave in the logic.
Of course, Kepasagi will have to find some magic to use that cane with. But, shouldn't be too hard to find magic.
You would think it wouldn't be.
In theory.
They might have to go to the well over and over. There's probably a better magic farming spot than that. But,
they do have a blue potion, actually.
Oh,
from
that's
the
right.
Dig game.
That's right. Ooh, silver arrows.
Yo, and bombs from the 3rd chest. I told you, all you had to do was go into Thieves Town.
You did call that. Luckily, they can't hear us.
Really sticky situation Marvel found himself in with half a heart. Managed to get through just fine with a heart refill and finding some fairies here.
Yep. Alright, well, one of the problems with getting all these items early is just that it gives you so many places to check. It's really hard to put together in your head in such a short amount of time what the best route is. We have Kepasagi come here to Hype Cave now. I feel this is going to be hype.
It could be sometimes.
Oh, never mind. That was just me having having to burp, I guess.
Okay, that was well, it opens up the big chest in Skullwoods. It's unfortunately all.
Well, that's also another key that can't be in the Lumberjack Cave. So, delayed hype? Well, he
Yeah.
knows about the shop because he came out and bought more bombs. Okay. Skullwoods is the other 5-6.
I think it was trying to talk to the guy and it just gave him the bombs instead.
I think that's probably more likely. I mean, he did have quite a few at that point.
Like, he
But
was
him.
looking right at the guy and it just gave him the bombs.
Well, I guess he wasn't feeling very talkative unless that Link bought something. What are the crystal six? I don't know. My memory's a little hazy.
Yeah, it's. I believe it's on the tracker as Misery Meyer. Oh,
Yeah, I was just
and
I was pretending to be the bomb shot guy.
my eyes are a little hazy too. I thought that was Ice Palace, but that's a green pendant. I guess it's Misery Meyer and Skullwoods, is it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's Skullwood's big chest. Is
Yeah, I guess if
accessible
you're
right
going
now.
there, yeah, you're going there anyway.
Obviously, we'd like to wait until you have the fire rod so you can just clear it while you're there, but might not be an option. Fire rod could definitely be in Skullwoods.
In the big chest in its vanilla location.
Of course, why not? Yeah, we have a catfish check coming up too. One of the most annoying spots to check.
It's so far out of the way. There's no convenient time to do this unless you had previously skipped the Light World Zora area. But
Yeah,
who does that?
yeah, it's really rare that happens where you actually get up here and you're like, well, I have the mirror and I can check all the stuff that I didn't check earlier. $5 for your trouble. Thank you, come again. Right, Mobile getting their Cane O'Brien and their silver arrows. They're gonna death warp, maybe. Right.
You might as well save and quit. I don't know. It'll take a while with Blue Mail to die.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he's still got stuff to check in the this area, might be faster to just walk out, but I'm not sure. Who knows? I'm not gonna time it.
Right. Yeah, this is a pretty rare situation. I noticed in previous races, I noticed one of Andy's matches, he was just taking a lot of damage intentionally, like all the way through the dungeon, planning to death warp.
Yeah, that's depending on your heart count in your mail, that can take a lot of pre-planning. Well, they'll just get his Stipper Sword though.
Because he wasn't. I think he had the big key, but he didn't have any way to beat blind. And then naturally, the fourth chest had a sword, so then he just stopped taking damage and went to blind.
Oh. Well, I'm sure he could do it with no damage on blind anyway, because he's Andy.
Yeah.
Well, we do have Tower of Hera access now. Gotta take the long way with no mirror. No fire source though, so won't be able to do anything much here. Got two item locations, unless nope, they did not get the big key yet. 10 arrows in the basement, cool. Or not the basement, the little stairwell area.
Okay. At the very least, this is a quick check. No, nice.
Big key of Desert Palace. So that's all the Desert Palace keys. Got the small one, got the big one. It's another key that can't be in Lumberjack Cave.
Except they can't access desert yet until they found either the book or the mirror.
Yep. And they still need a fire source to actually get to Land Mollis, but and boots to get the item on the torch. But they're still, you know, when they can. Oh, Keysmith to Gen's Tower. Thank you, that's worthless. As I throw it in the trash and spit on the floor.
Yeah, that Desert Palace big key seemed to remind Kepasagi of the desert area, and he must be frustrated just being right outside here and unable to go in.
Yeah, for sure. He's gonna get a tempered sword though, so he can't be that sad. Man,
You know what would be nice is if the duck would come pick up. Oh, there we go.
that would be really
Oh,
nice. He was like,
finally
he's
gets
calling all day. Like, where were you? Where were you? I was stuck in drive-thru. I'm sorry. Didn't even buy Movell anything at McDonald's. I'm sure. All right. Well.
I'll have a McChicken. I brought my own meat.
Oh well. That would explain why you didn't come. That's kind of dark, actually. Are you gonna pick up Mr. Froggy? Movell? Oh no, he did pick up the frog. Oh, that's right, because he went to the... Yeah, okay. No purple chest. I guess he's opting to do the dig game first. Since he has not done that. Makes sense. Meanwhile, Kepasagi coming here to Skullwoods. Oh, there's Quake. So that's a little bit of Turtle Rock access right now. Worth noting that there's a room in Skullwoods that is not... The chest is not randomized. That would be this room that Kepasagi is going to now. There's always a small key in here because if you fall in there and you don't have a small key, you have to save and quit, and that's pretty bullocks. So.
Yeah, that's really handy. It would be nice if there happened to be a guaranteed near a smithy home or something, but unfortunately you do have to save and quit for some instances of returning the smithy or unlocking the purple chest.
Oh yeah, that can definitely be required, and it's one of the easiest things to forget, and one of the least fun things to do. Especially if you don't have any flute, but they do, fortunately. Alright, well... Looks like he's, He does have the big key, so he can get this chest here. And it's actually really easy to get there, just by using the hook shot to hook stuff up, but... Opting to come up here. So we're almost like an hour into the seed, and we haven't actually made a lot of headway in anything. Do have a lot of good items, but
Yeah, I guess not a lot of good keys, huh?
no. Well, he can get into Turtle Rock. Can't get very... Well, he actually can he? Because I think they found one or two small keys Turtle Rock. I believe it's one. So he can get a little bit in there.
So with that big chest in Skullwoods, that confirms absolutely no hype from Hype Cave.
Well.
Sorry, Marvel.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm wrong. But you know, you gotta take the shots, man. People won't remember the times I'm wrong. They'll remember the time I'm right.
Yeah. The power of confirmation bias.
Okay, well, we do have a few pod keys, so looks like Kepasagi is heading that way. I mean, that's perfectly fine. In this situation, you don't have a lot of good options. Anyway.
Yeah, it's always frustrating when you're just staring at the map, because you kind of ran out of places to check.
Yeah, and the places you have left are just not really efficient or, like, feel-good places to check.
Time to double dip dungeons again.
Yep. Meanwhile, Movell is opting to turn in the purple chest.
This is kind of what I was hoping for, like required
Save and
revisits
quit.
to familiar places.
Ah, yes. Well, you're getting your wish, apparently. Unless all the items to your complete pod are in pod. Which could be very interesting.
Very possible. It's got 2 keys, which currently it allows in the logic for you to get, I believe, 4 items. Let's see, there's one at the start, one in like in that fall area, one past that place where you fall down.
Purple chest hides the powder. Ooh hoo hoo.
Ooh.
Hoo hoo hoo. And fire rod. We're getting a lot of good items. It's just a shame that Movell hasn't gone up to Spiral Cave and gotten his hammer. Otherwise, he could have checked that right now.
I guess there's only 3 items by the pod logic right now.
He's debating if he wants to do this, or I guess if he wants to come back later. Because if you do want to do it now, you do have to spend a key on the middle door, which can be a bit of a waste. It looks like he's just going to leave. But Fire Rod, pretty decent prize just to come in here. Oh, is it going back in? I guess so.
Yeah, not only does that allow you to beat Skull Woods, but you could also make some headway in Turtle Rock as well.
Yep.
I guess you only have 1 small key currently.
Yep, that's 2 chests on the right side.
For, I believe, 4 you can currently get. It's the bottom left chest, the 2 on the right side, and the 1 from Chomps.
Yep, I believe you are correct. And when you've got very few places to check, it seems like it'd be a good idea. Alright, what are you gonna spend your last small key on? Technically, he could get the maze items while he's here, but that requires a bomb jump, and I mean, when you don't have the big key.
Yeah, that's considered the hardest bomb jump in the game.
Oh yeah, that's very, very difficult. I cannot do that bomb jump personally, so...
You get a lot of opportunities to kind of pause the game to align yourself. Just do pause bufferings. But it is a double pixel perfect trick.
Yeah, it's very, very specific. But it's also, as it turns out, like really essential for Keysanity.
Depends what you get.
Yeah.
In this case, it might be pretty critical, but if you can skip that first key door, then you should be fine throughout the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Just not having to decide on what keys to use where.
Wall Master's so annoying. Actually, useful in this room though, if you use him as like a getaway after getting the chest. But other than that, they're very annoying.
Yeah, conveniently, Ether completely clears out this room in Skullwoods.
Yeah, I might have been a little bit hasty when I called it completely useless, because it does one-shot these Gyptos. Funny enough, we just had a high five in this room.
Marvel could opt to just use the Cane of Samaria to hold that button down. It saves him some trouble coming back as well.
That's true. Kepasagi could have done the same thing, did not though. And I'm sure they have enough magic for it. Well,
And if he wants even more magic, he could bomb that wall on the right side, and that has a full magic decanter every time.
that's very true. And he just got bombs to do so if he wanted to, but it's rare. You know, some people know about that room, some people don't. So
It's kind of tricky because Ice Palace has a lot of cracks in the wall that some of them don't have an opening at all. You can't bomb them.
which is always real mean. What is this? This is a fairy? He's going to heal up apparently. Flump flump with a womp. It's a magic spell to refill your health. Yep, all those fortune-telling hint guys, they refill your health after you pay them. It's very good to keep in mind. People go a long time playing this game without actually knowing that.
Yeah, that's especially handy in Entrance Shuffle. You hardly ever see it in other modes, though. They're kinda out of the way.
Yep, definitely. Out of the way, for sure. Alright, we have Movell coming down here. Is he gonna swim his way? No. Save and quit right before he gets the old poker. So this is a fun room that Kepasagi has just walked into. Especially when you're trying to save magic. Alright, well, Movell, sat there and thought for a moment. I wonder if they remembered that they forgot Spiral Cave. Huh? Oh, looks like they're gonna do the Old Man Dark Room first.
Yeah, that's a fair check.
Yeah, this is one of the easier dark rooms in the game. Not a whole lot of risk involved. Nothing to really annoy you.
He's not gonna have the lamp for you, because otherwise he would just use that to get himself out, but you might have the bow.
There's a lot of good items you could have. We have Kepasagi take on Mothula.
Might have vanilla mirror.
Uses his potion a little bit early. He wasn't actually at risk until he took another hit. But I mean, you don't want to have to walk back here. This is a really annoying boss to get back to.
I'm not sure about Blue Mail. Those onion rings he shoots out do a lot of damage. It might be
Yeah,
2
they
hearts.
do 2 hearts. Yeah.
Okay.
And the spec traps always do 1, no matter what your mail is, of course. Oh, he gets a map for his trouble. It's the map of Dark Palace.
Yeah, that's knowledge, I guess.
I guess it's something. That is our first crystal. 58 minutes, 56 seconds.
It's so late. Wow.
Yeah, and he doesn't
By
really
no
have
fault
a...
of the runners, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. What you got, old man? Castle Tower key. Well, if we had a lantern,
There it
that would be
is.
very interesting.
Have they checked the first chest yet?
I have, and it was just bombs.
Hmm.
Very boring. But it looks like Movella's heading over here to the, Are they going up? They're going up. Are they? Oh,
They're
no.
still gonna need one more castle tower key and a lamp in order to check what that big key is
Yep.
on lumberjacks.
Gonna need some boots, too.
Yeah.
Alright, Kepasagi. Heading to Ice Palace. This is also something that opened up with that fire rod. I hope Movell goes over to Spiral Cave. Checks that. I do not want to see them pull an ACLM. Alright, well. Don't actually need any small keys for Ice Palace to be completed as you use the bomb jump.
Yeah, I guess Marvel was kind of thinking, well, I could go up to Hera. Unfortunately, that requires the mirror or the hammer if you want to go the long way around.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Spike Cave. Unfortunately, you also need the hammer for that.
And that hammer is
Stay
not
put.
far from either of those locations. If only he checked it. The green pendant is an Ice Palace, I want to say.
Yes.
Looks like he's come over here to the Meyer area. I'm not sure if he's checked this yet or not, but I guess not.
It's too bad you can't, like, hold the door open in that one penguin room. Just, like, wedge the cane in so the door can't close.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate. If this were Breath of the Wild, you could do that, but
Yeah, you could do anything in Breath of the Wild.
oh yeah. Except this game's a little bit older than that, and it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Alright, well if he's going to bomb jump, he better be really accurate, because it doesn't have the heart total to mess up very much. Well, first try every time.
I think it does have a potion still.
I believe he used it on that Mothula, unless he got another one.
Okay.
He might have got another one, I'm not sure.
Alright, because he was in a kind of in a pinch.
Gets more bombs, as if he doesn't have enough already.
Could have used those earlier.
Yeah, sure could have. Right, well, making his way through. This is a very tedious dungeon in some respects. Especially these stairs when you don't have boots.
It's nice that he has that big key in advance, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. You don't want this, like, eating at your mind.
You can totally full clear this with a hook shot as well.
Yep. Just a piece of heart, unfortunately.
I want to say the bomb jump is going to be required in order to save keys, but other than that, like the rest of the dungeon, you could pretty much do vanilla.
Mm-hmm. Walks back in. I wonder if he was thinking about getting the fairies and they dropped down before he came over here.
That wouldn't be a bad idea, actually.
Yeah, this is real tricky with no boots to help you get to your precise movement. Oh, just like that, you can just slip off very easily.
If
Alright,
only he
Movel.
had that powder from the purple chest.
If only. Might evade him for a while yet. So I'm curious what Movel's gonna be doing now. Slashing the doorway. It's not gonna... Doorway didn't do anything wrong. It's not even locked. Oh, is he going to back up here to the Stark Room, I guess? I don't know if this is a good use of his time, just because this is not required by the logic. And he might be better served thinking about what he might have missed, rechecking. Even if he has to go and recheck all locations that he thinks he's checked. But, yeah. Oh. Huh.
Yeah, that's really tough when you just thought you checked something.
Spiral Cave has been known to troll runners, even really good runners. So, he's coming back in here. I guess he did get that extra tower key. Or what, did he? Or was that something that was that Kepasagi? I don't know. But he's decided.
Where was that?
No, he has
It's
it, of course.
Kepasagi, yeah.
Oh, he has it. He's got the key.
Okay.
So I assume that was him. Where he just like magicked it out of
I must have
nowhere.
all forgotten it. Oh,
You found the map of Hyrule
yeah,
Castle.
the old man.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Well,
He just did that, that's right.
can he actually even do anything here? Isn't there...
You could navigate the dark room for a chest.
Hmm. Oh yes, that's right. That's right. Well, let's hope that's something amazing.
They are allowed to open up a map of dark rooms and use those tools to get them through, as long as they're not looking up the other player's stream or trying to find a spoiler log or something.
And if you're going to do dark rooms, I highly recommend getting a map for that purpose. Just have them saved on your computer. Open them when you need them. Looks like Kepasagi found the shovel in Ice Palace.
Interesting. Is this, like... This isn't the first time we've seen Dark Agate Tower, is it?
I mean, this seed, yes it is, but
But, like, ever?
I don't know. Well, there's another small key to Dark Palace either way, in the dig spot.
Well, I mean, we're technically not seeing it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, we're not seeing it. I don't have my night vision goggles on, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is pretty much a rave with the lasers in the dark.
Well, I guess that's why he bought those 2 blue potions.
Yeah.
Because this is not a fun dark room. It looks like he's in the maze, though. Is he?
I think so.
I mean, it seems like he's navigating a maze. Or he's just walking out around in a very maze-like pattern.
Yeah, that's definitely not the other dark room. There's a dark room with a lot of pits around, but I don't think it goes up that far north.
Alright, well he's had enough. Which I suspect is probably the smart choice. Alright, let's hope he's going to the Spiral Cave. Maybe he just had like a sudden flash of inspiration. It's like, oh wait a second, I didn't check that. Movel, please.
I think he got to the key door,
But
of course he doesn't have the second key.
Meanwhile, Kepasagi is going into Turtle Rock. Got quite a few items that say, hey, go to Turtle Rock, so understandable. Well, if Movell is going to Spiral Cave, this is going to be huge for him. Gonna put him
Let's
on the
hope
right
so.
path. Yeah. No, don't do that. Okay. Well, anyway.
Pull out sword, do a little hookshot dash. Right into Hera.
Well, he's in the right area. Maybe, no, there's a golden sword. First chest to rock.
Man.
Pretty nice item, golden sword. Not as important as tempered sword, but still nice.
Yeah, not even as important as golden keys to get through the rest of Turtle Rock.
That's true. But golden sword tries very hard, so we should be nice to it. Oh, there's the other Aga small key. Dun dun.
Nice.
Dun.
But where's the lamp to go with it?
Probably in this room now, let's be real here.
Yep.
Lamp can be in some really obtuse spots, and it bothers me.
Didn't Movelland check Meyer? Didn't someone check Meyer?
Well, you can't get into Mire without Bombos, so...
Oh.
But who
Well,
knows where Bombos is? Well, I'm glad Bombos up here, checking things he hasn't.
let's see, what are the chomps got? The chomps are pretty scary as well. Even with Blue Tunic, I think they do 3 hearts of damage.
Yep, you are right. They do a lot of damage. Just stay piece of heart though, so... Turtle Rock
Man.
not the answer.
Yeah, not even progression.
Gold sword's
Unless
nice, but that doesn't get you very far.
unless he wants to do Dark Agate Tower.
Oh boy. I'm gonna say no to that.
Movelland, no.
Well, Sparrow Cave just tripped up quite a few people in its day. He'll probably
Absolutely.
remember eventually. But Kepasagi, also not sure, scratching their head.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Movelland's been stuck for quite a while, but Kepasagi is also stuck. So
Yeah.
Movelland has quite some time to come up with the play.
He certainly does. And if he gets that that hammer, he's actually not that far from catching up. All that Kepasagi really has on him right now are a few item location checks and Skullwoods.
Yeah, 2 items in Skullwoods. It's pretty handy.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Oh, he beat Mothila. Which items is he missing?
Well, he's missing hammer, of course. which
Oh, I was thinking
Fire Rod
Kepasagi
is.
was missing Skullwood's
Oh.
items.
Oh no, they got them all. As
Oh,
far as
okay.
I know. And I think Movell could get to Pod and get the Fire Rod even without the hammer if he drops down the river. Oh well. He seems angry as he blows himself up. Well, wow, that was he could have gotten that earlier. That big key to Tower of Harris in there, right in the middle of the room. So
Okay, so yeah, 3 pod keys does allow access to even more chests in pod. Namely, the big key chest, these back room chests with the turtles in the dark rupee room.
yep, finds a small
Something
key.
else.
Oh boy, he found the mirror in the dark, and the small key to Tower, not Tower of Hera,
Big
Turtle
key
Rock.
to Hera, though.
Yes.
Wow.
That's also Swamp Palace access.
So I'm thinking the lamp's got to be in Hera upstairs.
Certainly could be. It could also, yeah, because the mirror was in a dark room. That seems quite likely.
Because they could get to Hera without the mirror using the hookshot and hammer combo, and they got the Hera big key in a light room.
Yes, that's very true. And could also be bad, because the powder was not locked behind a dark room.
Oh, right. I remembered they got powder, but it hadn't occurred to me that Movelland was unable to check that yet.
Yep. Well, Marvel got powder at least. Kepasagi has not done that whole quest chain, but he might be more inclined to now that he has Mirror.
He's putting himself into desert as well. It's a fair play.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He does have the small key and the big key, so he could complete desert while he's here. The only thing that's out of his reach right now is the torch item.
What would be horrible is if Lamp is actually in pod, but it's bow locked, and Bow winds up in Hera or something.
Well, just a bottle on the torch, so fortunately, that's not going to be an issue right now. Well, it looks like Marvel is taking a swim. I'm gonna go up here, get to pod that way, looks like. So he'll get his fire rod, at the very least. Could get his mirror if he'd noticed dark rooms and he has enough keys. I'm not sure if he does or not. But it's good that he remembered that he can get here, even without the hammer. Did Kepasagi check the cannonball room? I don't think they did. Did they? They must have, because they don't have a key, so I must have missed that.
Actually, no. There's only you could see the compass reveals how many items they've gotten, and we know he only got the big key, or the big chest and the map room item, and he's only checked 2 locations.
So he must not have the small desert key then.
Correct.
So Movell has these little things in his favor right now.
It's kind of funny. He's been stuck for a long time, but he has plenty of things Kepasagi doesn't.
Yeah, if only these two work together, they'd be in a great shape right now.
Alright, we're changing this to a co-op match.
Wouldn't be much of a race if they did, but I'm just saying. Ah, that's right. The desert small key with the vanilla big key in Eastern, which Kepasagi skipped.
What if there was such a thing as competitive co-op where you're still trying to get first place, but you share all items and health? So you're
That would
constantly killing the other player by death warping in dungeons.
be interesting. I don't think either player would finish in that situation, but it's an interesting idea. Okay, well, Desert Palace was a crystal.
I guess you could turn off death share and just share the HP. Because it can take you down to 0 hearts and not kill you. As long as you're not the one that got hit.
Ah, very interesting idea. Well, Mo has his fire rod now, so does let him get a little bit further in the seed. It's just he needs that hammer. So I sincerely hope that at some point he remembers he did not do Spiral Cave.
So a note about stealing a key in Desert Palace. It's not required by the logic, and it does not lead to any soft locks. The logic basically assumes that you're gonna use all of the keys in the wrong way. So, if you were to take the small key into from the back to the front and not find the small key, well, you're just not looking hard enough. It's available somewhere in the world, accessible.
Yeah, a game will put items in such a way to where you can't actually do a dumb and make yourself unable to complete. Well, in most cases, anyway.
Yeah, there is one current softlock, but it's being worked on.
Yeah, and everybody's aware of that, so we shouldn't see it ever.
And coincidentally, in pod. So as long as they don't just dive straight to Helmut's Arcane, then they're fine.
Yeah. Alright, well, here's Moldorm Sim. So we have let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 big keys still missing. So the chance is higher than
one
ever.
of them is.
We know where one of them is, yes.
Except we
Chances are
can't get
higher
it.
than, here's a small key. A small key to
Sorry.
Ice Palace. No, that's fine. Oh, that is another crystal.
You're gonna find small caves to Ice Palace and Mire and the like, and it's really important for the logic to have those accessible. It's just really inconvenient when you're racing because when you know where to go and how to use the keys, they're really unnecessary. Same with Skullwoods.
Yeah. Like that locked door above like the exit with the small key in the pot. Like, I don't even know how to get there really. I think there's a drop down in some off path, but it's completely useless.
Yeah, when you're heading towards the end of the dungeon, like if you just take the other path, like above the exit, there's a hole back there that leads you to the back room, and there are stars that like kind of reveal that door. Just like uh, remove the holes.
Well, we got Lamp in the spike cave.
My favorite
That-
cave.
Yeah, that's not nice. Well,
It's interesting. Without half magic as well, that the logic requires either a bottle or half magic to be able to use invincibility items in such a way that you don't take any damage throughout Spike Cave. So the fact that he had bottles and cane allowed him to logically go through there.
yeah, I believe that's actually changed recently. I think you still need a bottle or half magic if you have the cape, but I don't think you actually require it for Cane of Burna anymore, because apparently you can get through there with Cane of Burna, and that's good enough apparently. And the one-hit KO mode, and they removed the one-hit KO mode logic just for the normal modes. Like in one-hit KO mode, then you would still have to get through there without taking any damage, but that's no longer true in the other modes.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those weird changes that's probably rarely ever going to come up, but it's something still good to keep in mind. Like if you're one of those players that just to game the logic.
So you pretty much just have, like, in order to do it without taking damage, you just have to be really good at wall pumping and whatnot.
Yeah. Alright, well here we go, in Aga Tower. Rovell will be able to clear Skullwoods while he's here. Sadly, that might make him hit another wall. He might go into Ice Palace at that point.
And even though he doesn't have the boots to open up the lumberjack tree, this is still a pretty helpful play because it does give him another means to access Dark World in this area.
Oh, he's saying no. He's saying I don't believe in the Lumberjack Cave. The other item was just the map of Desert Palace, which is really useful when you've just completed Desert Palace.
Well then.
Alright, are you going back into Ice Palace, Kepasagi? That's what it's looking like. And this is just not a nice seed at all.
What did he miss in ice?
I think there's a chest. I think he missed a chest. Maybe he wants to complete it as well, because this is the green pendant. But gonna need to get that extra small key. Oh, no.
Oh, did he not beat Cold Stare, I guess?
No, I don't think he did.
Okay. That kind
Did
of
he?
makes sense.
He might have. I don't think he did though. Be very weird.
Because
miss
I
that.
remember he did the iced tea room. I'm pretty sure he checked the big chest, right? He had the big key.
Yeah, he did. It was just a piece of art, I believe. He's opting to go into Swamp instead. This is something, but he doesn't. Well, there's one chest he can
He's
get.
missing 2 items here. I don't know what it was.
So it's going to be in this this chest in Swamp Palace, the one chest. Are you feeling vanilla, Smoky? That would be rude. That would be really rude.
Yikes. Oh, the spike room chest. Okay. It's an interesting one to miss.
I wonder if Mobile plays with the tracker or not. Because if he doesn't, I would recommend one to him.
Yeah, I would hope he. Well, he probably at least has an item tracker. I don't know if he plays with the location tracker though. That can be handy as well.
Yeah. That's one I use personally. I wasn't like backhand insulting or like that before somebody takes it out of context. I was just saying it's very useful to keep all the
Oh man,
locations you checked you know, right
that's
there
a
so
nice
where you can see
find.
them. What do we find?
Is that the bow in Swamp Palace?
Oh, was it the bow?
It was
Oh
indeed
my
the bow.
god. That's not wow, that is not no.
That is
No.
rough.
No. Alright, well,
Everyone hates that chest.
for that to be the bow though. Oh man.
It's kind of worse than the vanilla small key.
It is, really. It's like you really wanted me to come here to get the bow. And then the bow is probably gonna be what locks the small key, the Swamp Palace.
Oh geez, you know what? I just realized the mirror was in pod that was required to get into Swamp to get the bow.
What? Wait, hold on. Yeah, okay. Well, that makes
Yeah.
sense because the lamp was actually in a pretty accessible spot for a while now. That is pretty mean. So even though Kepasagi is progressing little by little, they are not having a fun time of it, I would say.
Third trip through pod. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Keysanity.
Yep.
We may just have another 3-hour seat on our hands.
Oh god. Oh god. Seems possible. Alright, well, what's over here? We got the big 20 and a piece of art. Oh.
We had a player recently, he got like a 158 or something. Like, he was racing against Andy. Like, he was a newer player, and he just like he only had 3 Keysanity races, and he PB'd by like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, 158's a pretty good time for Keysanity of all things. I mean, usually these seeds can run well after that, even if they're not
guess-
particularly trolling.
Yeah, probably like an hour and 6 minutes or something. Like his previous race time, like the previous week was a 3:03, and he won. So I guess some seeds are pretty trolly.
Poor Movo. He's resorting to checking over here for an item. Maybe he just wanted the fairies.
And Keysanity wound up making it up to him because the very next race was pretty much a jet seed. He finished in pretty quick time. I think it was like an hour 53 or something.
What's going on here? Movel's stuck in the well that doesn't take no for an answer. You want to donate some rupees? No? Okay. Do you want to donate some rupees? No! Kepasagi trying to do
That's
this hammer
effective.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So he picked up a bomb and walked through the trigger, I guess.
Yeah, I think he was trying to bomb the fairy, but she didn't like that very much. She's like, yeah, okay. Two can play that game.
I didn't know you could get stuck there that way.
I mean, I understand Movel's frustration.
Because usually you say no and you walk away, but I guess if you're deeper into the trigger, then you can get stuck in it. I found another, like a long time ago, there was someone who just so happened to mirror on top of the dude that runs away from you in Kakariko Village, and he just kept talking to you over and over.
Oh boy. He was just very shocked. Doesn't know where he came from.
Incidentally, he has flavor text as well, just telling you to be sure to thank VTorp and the other developers for this randomizer.
Oh wow,
So
Kepasagi.
he made sure to thank VTorp, alright?
Kepasagi was kind of trying to YOLO that bomb jump, but he actually gets it, so that was really good. Small key to Tower of Hera in the Dark Maze. One more item here. Big 20. Well, he's gonna have to make another trip into pod at some point, probably. Coming in here to East, and you can complete this now.
Yeah, at this point you just kinda gotta just pick a place and go check.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea. This is a crystal, so might as well. And maybe he'll see the no, wait, hold on. The big chest, the vanilla big chest. Not the big chest. Big key chest.
Yeah. That's right, because he didn't have the lamp at the time.
Well, he actually made it all the way there. He just decided to save and quit in that room for some reason. I'm not sure why. But he's
Just
gonna
make sure the chest was there for later.
Well, he didn't even spawn it. Otherwise, he probably would have got it. But everybody was there. All the students did roll call. Yep, everybody's here. Okay. Teacher will be back in a couple hours. Don't do anything stupid. It's gonna be like, oh man.
It's kind of between this and Ice Palace.
Yeah, I mean, if he's gonna check pod while he's here, doing this makes perfect sense to me.
If you're good at keeping track of like all of the items you get in dungeons, you don't really need the compass for anything, but that's easier said than done. And some of these racers really kind of I guess I'm saying it's nice that the compass has a feature now.
Yeah, it's also really useful for
Oh, that was the Desert Palace small key. That's right.
yeah. Yeah, it's also really nice for anybody who's just trying to race casually. Because if they forget something in a dungeon, they can just peek in, look at the item count, say, okay, I got everything here, so this wasn't it, and so on. Apparently, the only thing Kepasagi missed was a shield.
Oh, okay.
And Mobile can't do much else here without the hammer.
Maybe if he like puts the shield on the pegs and then just slams really hard down on it.
Desert was a normal crystal. We do know the two red ones. They are Ice Palace. Are they Ice Palace and Mire?
No, Ice Palace's green pendant. I think
Oh,
Skullwoods.
Skullwoods.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Right. Sure.
I had to double take because in the older things for the crystals, they just used asterisks next to the crystals, and on lower resolutions, the bottom of Mothula kind of looks like an asterisk for some reason. I would get tripped up so much on that, and now I get tripped up again because that's not what it means.
Yeah, I got tripped up a little bit myself.
But it's still a red crystal anyway.
All right. Well, let's think about what Kepasagi could do now. He could go do the lumberjack chain, get that magic powder, check the magic bat. He did get another smoky deter rock, which I believe gets him to
Laser bridge, I think.
yes, I believe that's correct. Yeah, and as well as Mimic Cave. So he has a few options. There's the big key thieves down.
Actually, I don't think laser bridge is in the logic yet because you can use the key from the Pokey in either the door behind the big key door or the vanilla big key chest location.
That's true as well. Yes.
So technically, neither of those are in the logic because you could use the key on either of the doors.
Mobile attempting the Ice Palace spawn jump. This is actually, as essential as it is, it's actually pretty tricky to set up just right.
Yeah, it's really awkward because there's a difference between setting it up when you first come out of the door and setting it up after you fall from the bomb, because you're actually in two different vertical positions.
Yes, that's true as well. Usually what I like to do is I like to use the sword as the guide. And that's consistent between the different setups. So I'm not sure if Mobile actually knows what to look for and not. Opting just to hit the switch, which is good. I mean, there's no point in just banging your head against it if you can't get it. No, I don't know how much further you can get into the dungeon without it.
Yeah, you don't want to be too low or you're gonna hit yourself. You're gonna hit against the pegs and that's just gonna straighten you out horizontally, so you're just going straight into the pit instead of diagonally across the gap.
Yeah, it's not where you want to go. Well, he's opting to save and quit. I hope he goes back up Death Mountain. That would make me a happy camper. Though I will say, this tournament was open to everybody of all skill levels. It's just a for fun thing, as all tournaments are really. And you know, going on Restream, it actually takes quite a bit of bravery. It's not easy to be playing your best or at all, really, if you're getting watched by hundreds, maybe thousands of people. So do keep that in mind when you speculate on their play or you're watching this.
I have some friends who love playing A Link to the Past and other video games, but they don't like to join races and like competitions because it's just too much pressure for them to be looked at while they're playing.
Yeah. Well, there's another small key to Dark Palace.
Yeah, by the logic, you do need all of them, all 6 of them.
Yep, Dark Palace is basically like a piano, with how many keys there are to it. I missed the blind pun.
It's okay, I'm sure Blind didn't see it either.
I guess that's my pun instead.
There we go, something for everyone.
Ooh, bombos. That's a goodie. That is Misery Mire access.
It's a tap dancer pun. I didn't see the entire thing though.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a tap dancer one. That's all I saw though.
And just drilling away at that bomb jump.
Yeah. It's something you if you're gonna run a randomizer, you should probably learn that. The sooner the better, just because how useful it is in pretty much every mode. If you're just if you don't really want to learn it, or you just don't know like the basics, the real important thing is lining yourself up with that the edge of the pit. If you're too far from it, you're not gonna make the jump at all.
It's placing the bomb way too low as well, just making it a lot more difficult. It's kind of deceptive how that works, because you want to bomb diagonally across, but that peg kind of sticks out a little further than you would notice. If you're going straight back, then you're just not getting far enough over before you hit it.
There's actually a really useful image guide in Cross Products Tracker that shows you exactly how to set it up. Like depending on how many pixels of the pit you see, how many pixels you want your sword from the bomb's shadow.
Luckily, it's not required by the logic, so you could just
Yeah.
not do it as well if you haven't learned it, but I think a lot of the racers just kind of feel compelled to learn it because it is a pretty big time save.
Yeah, and pretty much everybody does it, so I can definitely see them feeling, mentally pressured to do this, even though it's not required. And that's my advice if anybody does these, is if you're having difficulty pulling off a specific trick or fighting a boss with your current gear or whatever, it's better to try and be more productive elsewhere than banging your head against it, unless it's like the only thing you can do. Because if you're trying to do something that's just not in your abilities, you waste more time that way than trying to be efficient and do it that way. Like, for example,
Mhm.
if I have to do Mothula with like Green Melon low hearts, but I have other things that I can do, if I die to Mothula, I'll probably just leave and come back later, rather than just try and to finish up Skullwoods while I'm there.
Oh yeah, even vanilla equipment for Mothula is pretty brutal, actually.
Yeah, that fight can be very easy or very mean.
You do have Hammer against Mothula, but that's very difficult to use.
Hammer not known for its hitboxes. Well, there's Red Mountain Mire.
Or to put it another way, it's very well known for its lack of hitbox.
Yes. Depending on the direction, that's very, very true. Kepasagi is becoming pretty close with these torches, I think. Yeah, just barely. There we go. Last bit of magic.
It's a bit deceptive because the lamps do like they kind of pause when you're going through screen transitions. So you have a lot more time than you would think.
Yeah, it's like a full second per screen transitions, maybe a bit more. It's still pretty tight timing with the lamp if you're have to push the blocks out of the way. You can definitely do that without having to relight anything, but it can be a little tricky. Oh, the compass of Ganon's tower. Thank you. Only slightly more useful than the map of Ganon's tower.
Yeah.
And I do mean slightly. Because in this mode, you're probably not going to check anything in Ganon's tower. So why would I need to know how many items are missing?
I guess what you really need to know, if you don't have the big key to Ganon's tower, is
Wow.
that there are only 4 keys locked, or only 4 locations locked by the big key.
Speaking of the big key.
5 locations, sorry.
That's fine. Speaking of the big key to Ganon's tower, though, we just found it in Mystery Mire.
Well,
Wow. So what is that? That leaves Pod and Swamp as the big key in the Lumberjack Cave, I believe.
nice.
And let's see here. One of those is a required dungeon, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a maybe, I think.
It's a maybe. Because Misery Mire would be the 5th crystal. Yeah, so one of those would definitely be required, right? Am I crazy?
Definitely one of them are required. Whether or not you're crazy is neither here nor there.
Okay, well, I guess those are 2 mutually exclusive things. But that the big key and the Lumberjack Cave could definitely be the required one. Of course, if it's Swamp Palace, that's not good, because you don't need that key.
It could
actually
possibly be both. Turtle Rock might be a pendant, right?
Possibly. Oh yeah, that's true. That is very true.
And don't you just love that Misery Mire dark room?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just wish we didn't have the lamp to make this a bit more of a challenge. Pod is a pendant. Okay, so Keppa has the map. So if that's the big key to Swamp, which it probably probably is. It's not required to actually complete the game, unless the item in the big chest is required. Of course, if that same would be said for a Helmasaur item or the pod big chest.
So, what do we have left that we need? We might need boots. We need one of the two. Well, actually, we might need pod big key.
We
Two
might.
small keys, right?
I think we need at least one or two more small keys for Turtle Rock.
A small key for either swamp or pod at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, pod is
And
dependent,
for
apparently.
insurance, pod is pendant? Okay.
So. I don't think we have the Swamp Palace small key, though, so that's almost like a big key. With how important it is.
Yes, basically, it's the biggest small key.
Other than that, and so I think we're just missing keys at this point. It would be very interesting if boots are required as well, just for that big key somehow.
What was on the desert torch?
Oh, just a bottle.
Oh, okay.
A very hot bottle. I guess it's like a Bunsen burner.
Makes sense.
It was empty though, so that's kind of weird.
Well, it is now.
Yeah, I guess all the liquid evaporated. Yeah, unfortunately, it does seem like Marvel is a little lost at the moment. I'm still wishing with every fiber of my being that he goes up to Death Mountain. But I don't know if that'll happen. Kepasagi, where are you going? Are you going back to Turtle Rock? So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that, Pedestal could be that smoky we're talking about, the swamp.
Maybe.
Because Pod's pendant, so is Ice Palace, and so is Thieves Town. So it seems quite possible that Swamp Smoky could be on Ped, or Book could be on Ped, leading to Swamp Smoky on the tablets, if you want to get really mean.
Yeah, I think you're right. We do still need keys for that to be, in the logic, I guess? I think currently in the logic you only need 5 keys technically. For pod, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Okay, think
You're
about
supposed
this.
to need 6, but oh well.
Okay, think about this. Ped is Boots. Boots lead you to, what would it be?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on.
One
I
of the
had something.
tombs.
Yeah, I don't know. I had this really mean item chain in my head. I just lost it.
Mushroom, perhaps?
Book on Ped. Boots on tablet. Big key to swamp. No. Forget it. I give up.
Oh,
'Cause
like,
we need the small key to swamp, not the big key.
yeah, but the big chest and swamp could have a small key.
You could, but yeah, I don't think you actually need that to complete swamp, do you?
Oh, right. I was thinking like a small key to Turtle Rock.
Oh yeah, I guess that could happen. Still need a smoky to swamp though. I don't know.
So I guess like a big key to pod would be useful in that case.
Yeah,
To have a small key somewhere.
I might have bit off more than I could chew with that idea. Just having swamp small key on pedestal would be great. We must be modest with our desires, especially when the seed's not been kind already. Well, Kepasagi will be able to check him in the cave on his way down, hoping to find another small key for this dungeon he's in. It would be really funny if the swamp small key was in here and the other Turtle Rock small key was in swamp.
Where is Movelland? Is he in Eastern or Meyer?
I'm not sure. Did he go? All the dark rooms look the same to me, unfortunately.
He must be. He must. Oh, he can't be in Meyer. He doesn't have bombos.
What's the location with 6 chests?
Does Hyrule Castle? Well, Hyrule Castle has 7 items. I don't know if it has a. I don't think it has a compass, does it?
He's in the Eastern, apparently. Okay.
But he doesn't have bow, so he can't get the 6th item.
Maybe he forgot he checked the, yeah. Or maybe he's actually trying. I don't know. Oh, a small key to Skull Woods. That's so useful.
Making the laser bridge play, that makes sense.
Yeah, this is, 4 items. You're already here, so...
Jeez, where is progression?
It's a good question. It's been very good at hiding.
Yeah, 2 hours and 2 minutes in. 2 hours, 3 minutes in, and we do not know how to achieve go mode.
Well, there's Boots. There's Vanilla Smokey, Turtle Rock on Laser. Where are you going? No,
Wow.
go back down there. You're checking all of them. Get the safety door while you're at it.
Has he opened up the safety door?
He's doing that now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's very helpful.
Where you going? No! You still have 2 chests to check. What are you doing? You're crazy.
Oh no.
You're
Well,
crazy.
by logic, he's not supposed to be here yet, I guess. So that
How's
makes Boots not in the logic, because if you use the small key on the big key chest, like before this area, then you wouldn't have access to the laser bridge.
I guess that's true, but you're here anyway. Like, you already broke the logic. You might as well break it
True.
all the way. Plays a dangerous game, Kepasagi. Yeah. Real unpredictable.
I don't know though. Like, maybe it has pod small keys, but, like, what can it have?
I don't know, it could have anything. It could have anything. That's the appeal. It could have anything.
True.
Well, this is gonna be really funny if there is something there somehow. He has to come back for it.
Yeah, it could be the swamp. I guess it could be Swamp Palace small key. Because there's gotta be a Turtle Rock small key to access that. But if he doesn't have other progression, then he must be just missing something, which could be a Turtle Rock small key.
That's true, yeah. Movell is still in the dark, and more ways than one, unfortunately. Okay, yeah, they were in the Eastern Darkroom. This Darkroom can actually be kinda mean, because if you're up at the top pixel, you cannot lift the pot. So even if you're in the right spot and you're spamming the grab button, you just don't pick it up unless you move down a little bit.
And I think he was trying to pick up a pot from the bottom, but I think he could only pick up the pot on one of the sides.
And he could make this a lot easier for himself too if he just lit the torches with the fire rod. But he might not know where those are in the room.
He tried to earlier, and I think he hit an Igor.
Wow. Those guys are always in the way.
He's just looking all over for that pot.
So I wonder what Kepasagi is doing, unless he found a swamp small key while we were looking at other stuff. Not sure what he can really do. Oh, he's doing the big bomb, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, I was just enthralled by his staring at the sparkles in the dark.
They're so shiny.
Okay, I saw on his pause menu, he did not have the swamp small key or either of the two big keys.
Okay, well he's checking the big bomb location. So we'll see what this hides.
A Turtle Rock small key.
And then the swamp small key happens to be back on Lazy Bridge, but you skipped.
Oh man.
It's nothing.
Just like we were saying earlier. This seed is... Man, this seed is winning today.
Yeah, this is like a real tangled mess right here. This looks like my NES controllers after they've been in a box for like a year.
How do they even get tangled? They're literally not moving.
They're just, I don't know, they have will of their own.
Yeah, so nothing from Pyramid Fairy. Have they checked the catfish?
They have, yeah, it was just a fiver. We're going up Agate Tower.
Yeah.
Required or not, we're getting our wish. Or my wish. 2 hours, 10 minutes. We're doing Aga Tower.
And he didn't do the hammer jump in pod, did he?
Oh no, he did. He tried at it for a while, and then he got one without pause buffering. It was really, really cool.
Okay.
But he did not have the big key for pod, so he couldn't check the big chest.
Yet.
Yet, yes. Could we be seeing our 5th or 6th dip into pod? Find out soon.
So for anyone just joining us, we're having a bit of trouble with some missed locations. Unfortunately, Movellandrone forgot to check the Spiral Cave when he was up on Death Mountain, and that led Kepasagi to get lost in various other locations. Currently, he's unable to find the Swamp Small Key that he needs to beat Swamp. And he just got the boots in Turtle Rock Laser Bridge, which is currently not in the logic, so technically he should be looking for a Turtle Rock Small Key that he no longer needs, possibly.
Possibly, yeah. I don't know if anybody saw that, but when the first time Kepasagi tried to use a soak shot there, it just came back to him. The reason for that is the guards shoot out invisible projectiles when they're trying to aggro something. So when he shot out a soak shot, he hit that, and it bounced it back. It's a very weird game, but that's happened to me before.
Yeah.
I've always wondered why. That's the
I
reason.
think they're Sith. They have force powers.
Yeah, of course.
But they're also, they're Stormtrooper Siths, so they're not particularly good at their job.
Well, there's one red guard that's really good at his job. I know that much. He's the pig red guard that always manages to spot you as you enter the screen. That guy, give him a raise. Alright, well, Movel makes his way through that room. I predict much frustration when he realizes he can't actually do anything else here.
Yeah, he did actually get up the top of Eastern through the dark room, and then he just kind of backtracked to the Rupee room.
And this is gonna be the spot where he's gonna, yeah. Well, unfortunately, those guys cannot be damaged by anything but arrows.
And unfortunately, you can't use the arrows with anything but the bow, which is definitely hammer-locked.
Unfortunate. It'd be nice if you could just stab him. Wait. He's trying everything, but
oh, it was mirror locked. It was in mirror was in the dark rupee room of pod. Oh, actually, it is hammer locked because the lamp was in Spike Cave.
Mm-hmm.
And the bow was actually the first chest in Swamp.
Yeah, that's a really nice spot for it. Okay, moment of truth. Pod or Swamp Battle's big key. Oh, it's swamp.
Well, that's
the
not progression.
frustration. That's not going to be useful, unfortunately.
So is he gonna go back to Turtle Rock? Or is he gonna go back to Ice Palace?
Why didn't he check the other chests and turn around? I don't understand. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, Mobile had a bit of trouble finding that hammer. But this cave. Oh, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Bonk rock, swamp, smoke. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but this cave has actually tripped up a lot of runners. The one that Mobile got trolled by. Even really experienced ones. Like I know at least one case where somebody in the main tournament had to forfeit because they forgot Spiral Cave. But it looks like he remembered it now. Probably a bit too late, but at least he'll know without us having to tell him. Okay.
So yeah, 2 hours and 15 minutes in for go mode, finally. It is the last crystal, but it's a long way for go mode.
That is a long time, yeah. Fortunately, this will be a very short dungeon.
So maybe, like, Turtle Walk Small Key on Magic Bat or something?
Huh. It could definitely be something really truly like that. Yep. There we go. Here it comes. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Just get it all out. 2 hours of frustration right there. He should have left more bombs. I would have definitely done that. But hey, he's got his hammer.
Save the bombs for next seed. It would have helped this seed if he stocked up from the previous seed, too.
It would have, yeah. Well, again, I don't know what he's checking chests for. Like, you don't need to check any of these. You can just straight shoot into the finish.
Oh, jeez. Maybe he wants half magic really bad.
I mean, your sword can't get any more golden, and your tunic can't get any redder. And your arrows can't give it any more silver.
Or he wants powder.
Well, he's not gonna find it here. Oh boy, he got really lucky. that swamp small key was not on the bridge, because it definitely could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Because the boots locked it, which means that Turtle Rock small key was definitely in the logic somewhere, right? So it could have been on the laser bridge. Well. Does he not realize he was in gun mode? Now he realizes. Now he realizes. Or does he?
Mm-hmm. Incidentally, the bat had the map for Swamp Palace to confirm whether or not Swamp is crystal.
Well. A little bit late for our benefit, but at least Mava knows. Kepa's just being thorough, guys. He wants the loot.
I'm thinking Turtle Walk Small Key might have been Cold Stare or something similar.
It's quite possible.
Or Sriracha possibly holding on to it.
He got lucky. Wait a second. Wait a second. Oh wait, that's right. I was about to say this music doesn't sound like a crystal, but that's because he doesn't have the map.
It well, it's random whether
Yeah.
it's random regardless because in
Oh, it
Keysanity
is?
you're not supposed to. You're not even. It doesn't help to have audio cues because it's randomized.
Okay. Oh, that was about to throw me for a loop. I'm like, wait a second. No, everything's still fine. Everything's still good.
I guess technically, Cold Stare could have like a pod small key that leads to Turtle Rock small key and pod.
It could. It'd be funny if it were on the pedestal.
Yeah. And you would still need pod small keys in order to get pedestal as well.
Ah, man. Alright, here's Argus. It's gonna be real easy. One of the least threatening bosses in the game, unless you are very impatient. Even less so when you have all the upgrades.
Yeah, even a poke from the butter sword will kill each of the puffs in one hit.
Oh, I guess that's true. Kepasagi does not actually know, does he? If this is a crystal, or does he have the pod map? Because if he has the pod map, then process of elimination would let him
Yeah.
know.
I think he knows.
Well, he knows now. Wait, he knows now. Okay. So, that is all 7 crystals for Kepasagi. All he has to do now is climb Ganon's tower. Defeat Aghanim 2. Then defeat Ganon.
So there are 22 chests in Ganon's tower. Well, unfortunately that's no longer relevant because we already have the big key. So, I mean, you could still put numbers in the chat if you like, but it won't really mean anything.
Yeah, and they're all... Every last one of the numbers is going to be wrong.
And Movelland getting his lamp.
He actually found that in relation to when he got the hammer, much faster than Kepasagi did. So that's nice. That might lead him into a pod where he'll get his mirror.
Yeah, this seed really gave them the run around here. But now that Movelland's pretty much cleared out everything that wasn't hammer locked, it really narrows down the rest of the game.
Yeah, the things he actually couldn't check before. And he did a lot of dark rooms as well, so he could have a really quick finish if he goes to the right spots in the right order.
You know, it's really cool that you could use powder or the quake to turn the squirrels into blobs and kill them. I kind of wish you could turn the cabbages into something killable as well.
Yeah, dead rocks are, there's not enough to kill them. For sure. With how much trouble they cause everybody on a daily basis.
When is the race to kill 10 dead rocks?
Easier said than done. Okay, well, apparently Ganon's Tower is a pendant dungeon today, as you can tell by the music.
Alright.
So, not too much about GT. This is always the really uniform time, since we've already basically done everything randomized.
Kepasagi. How did you like this seed?
I'm gonna say they probably didn't, even though they got not trolled as badly as their opponent.
Why you no check pedestal?
No book. So, after Kepasagi finishes, we'll bring him in for an interview. Since it seems unlikely that Marvel will be done, like, soon, we'll probably watch him for a bit. I don't think we're gonna, like, wait till he's done, because, channel might be needed for other things. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, though. This is always my least favorite room of the gauntlet. Just because the skeletons are so dodgy.
And it's nice coming here like after a 2.5 hour seed when you have red mail, silvers, 17 hearts, butter sword.
No powder, but yeah. And you don't even have to check anything, you can just go straight upstairs. It's real nice.
You just tank a laser to the face, don't even really feel it. You're already just too worn out from the seed.
Yeah. Definitely, around 2 hours is when I usually start to really dip execution-wise. So I just want to be done with it. And he's got to be careful though, he doesn't want to get too sloppy.
Silver's strat is really hard on Lanmolas too.
Yeah.
Nice that he at least got one.
Yeah, it is. If you miss one of those, you can't actually fire another arrow until the other one stops. So it can be really hard to actually get any more shots off. I usually just like to use Fire Rod for that. It's a lot easier to hit with. You can spam it, 2 shots.
Yeah, with butter, it's just 2 slashes as well will do the trick.
That's also very true.
Only 4 hearts, but he's still got blue potion. It's fine.
He did opt to get some safety potions for coming up here, which is always a good idea if you think you might need them. Especially with loot. It does not take long at all just to pick them up. Oh no.
Movelland getting a little trolled here. Is there anything actually needed in Ice Palace? Are there pod keys or anything?
I don't think there's actually any required
Isn't
here.
Ganon's Tower a big key? Oh, that's in Meyer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not here. I'm pretty sure this is just heart pieces and big 20s. Unless I'm horribly mistaken, which is quite possible.
He does have the Ice Palace big key, so he might not need to do the bomb jump just to save a key. Not entirely sure, but he at least doesn't need to beat Cold Stare. We know that.
Kepasagi bombing the final chest after opening it. Just a big 20 in there.
Actually, we kind of don't know that. He might have an important small key for logical reasons.
Yeah, he might. Though all we really know is that Kepasagi did not have to do that, so there's some layout where Mobile doesn't have to do that. But he might opt to anyway, just because. Alright, Aghanim 2, here we go. That's a 1. That's a 2. Oh, this is a good pattern.
I'm gonna guess Cold Stare probably has the big key for pod.
It's certainly possible. That is one of the big keys. The only big key we didn't find.
And very few item locations left.
Yeah, both these dungeons have been very thorough. Alright, well, Aga 2. We got Naru. Now we go to Ganon.
I guess technically it could be in Ganon's Tower, but I don't know, unlikely.
Yeah, unlikely, I would say. Alright, Ganon should be no trouble at all with these items.
He never found Cape either. Interesting.
Yeah, Cape is probably in GT, I would assume. I assume all the fetch quest items we didn't find are probably in GT.
Yeah, likely. He never picked up a shield either.
Nope, he did not. He missed the chest in Ice Palace that actually had that. So Kepasagi actually got really lucky with the chest he decided to skip. Movell, on the other hand, got really unlucky.
Yeah, with the exception of that late Lent, he's been pretty lucky on his gambles here.
Yeah, definitely. Right, there's one Silvero. Unfortunately, did not get the torch glitch. could be a double. Nope. That's a 2. That's a scary spot for Ganon to spawn. Okay, this should do it. There we go. Ganon is no more. Kepasagi, the victor. And they finish with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 35 minutes, 40 seconds. Apparently an 18-minute PB, so congratulations to them for that.
Yo, sweet. This was definitely an interesting seed. It was pretty unfortunate that they just didn't find the things very quickly, like in the correct order, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's because they were getting ran around all over the world, just kind of pinballing all over.
Yeah, this was not straightforward at all. Okay, Kepasagi will be joining us. They said give me 2 minutes. So we're gonna give them 2 minutes.
Sweet.
Not a second longer. They better be in here. 2 minutes max.
They have to find the channel small key. And meanwhile, Movelland making some... Well, he's making progress at least. At least checking locations. Not necessarily checking the right locations, but eliminating options. And there's something to be said for that, at least.
Okay, I do see Kepasagi in the setup room. I'm gonna go ahead and pull them in here. Hopefully they're ready, because I'm pulling them in now.
Alright.
Kepasagi, hello, GG. Congrats.
Congratulations. I don't know if he's here.
I don't hear him. Maybe they weren't ready. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I
You
should
fool!
Ah. Well, impatience is one of my biggest problems. Okay, it looks like Movella is gonna opt to kill Cold Stare. We'll know what they had.
He's waiting with bated breath to see what the pedestal held.
Okay, Kepasagi hopped out for the moment. I guess they are setting up stuff, maybe having a few issues.
Okay.
Oh no, Mobile. Losing the staring fight. Staring fight, staring contest, that's what they call those. Not a fight. Hello, Kepasagi?
Well, it's kind of a fight.
I guess it's kind of a fight. The cape was ped. Cool.
Do you happen to remember what was on Bumper Ledge, if that was checked?
I don't think that was checked, but I'm not sure. Well, since we're getting Kepasagi all set up here, I'll go ahead and take the time to mention, if you liked the race, go ahead and be sure to give both these runners the follow. And of course, our tracker, Math Girl, doing a great job as always. Give her a follow as well.
Yeah, as confusing as this seed was, it would have been twice as confusing if we didn't know what they had.
Oh, absolutely. My mind just turns to mush after a certain point. I rely on the trackers to make me look not stupid.
Then you could turn that mush in to get an item from the witch.
Yeah, in my case, it'd probably just be a big 20.
Probably better than a penny for your thoughts.
I see what you did there. Okay, we are still trying to get Kepasagi in here for you guys. I'm sure they have a lot of things that they would like to say.
So currently, Movelland is still looking for the mirror, which is in the Dark Rupee room in Pod, and that will get him access to Swamp Palace, which has the bow in the first chest.
There's some real twisted logic here. I wouldn't even call it logic. I would just call it malice.
And he also needs, see, how many keys does he have? 1 key for Torwalk? He needs 2 more keys, at least logically, to get to the laser bridge to get his boots, which will get him the small key to Swamp in the Bonk Rocks.
Yep, that's how that worked.
So, some very distant items.
Keysanity is already kind of a convoluted mode without all these little frayed logic chains.
Where was Quake, by the way?
Quake, I don't recall.
Probably Meyer or something?
Possibly. Kepasagi, hello.
Hello?
Hello, we hear you.
Hey, welcome.
GG, congrats.
Oh, there we go. GG. I guess I just needed a reboot there.
Discord has a few issues. What were your thoughts on that seed?
Well, I'm just gonna say Swamp Palace, or yeah, Swamp is forever my waifu now.
Argus Gem. Yeah, that was a really nice item in the first chest. Pretty bow in her hair.
Oh, yeah. I know I was debating between finishing Ice Palace and just doing that first chest in Swamp, except I forgot that I didn't have the Swamp key. I thought I had it. So I was like, I'll just go do Swamp Palace because I love Swamp Palace and it's so much fun. And then I opened it up and was like, oh, I don't have the key. And then there was the D.
There it is. That's actually a really, really rude spot for that, I feel.
Oh yeah. I had a feeling with that big key that ended up not being required on Lumberjack Ledge. I assumed that the seed was just gonna try to troll us as much as possible.
Oh yeah, it definitely did. Unfortunately, it trolled Mobile pretty hard. So that was just because they forgot one location for quite a long time. They did not check Spiral Cave.
Oh yeah. Spiral Cave was pretty big. The seed.
Yeah. Well, what does that bring your score to? Do you know? Is that your first race or your second or?
Second
be
race
second.
now. Now I'm 1-1.
Oh, of course. What am I talking about? I'm crazy. My brain's turned to mush. I told you. Well, congratulations on your win. Still.
Well, thank you.
Was there anything that you did that you felt really, really happy with?
Well, other than that swamp play, the other one was where I was stuck in Schrodinger mode, and I was just like, I really hope these dungeons that I like have the crystals in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats on Turtle Rock not trolling too hard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can I ask something? Why did you not check the last few chests on Laser Bridge?
I was just dumb. That's all I've got. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty dumb myself sometimes, so I understand.
I remembered because I mirrored and I was like, I'm gonna leave. And I was like, oh, there were those 2 chests on Laser Bridge. And then I just said, you know what? Nope. I'm just gonna gamble.
Oh man. Well, you won definitely with that gamble. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was kind of a scary race because, well, unfortunately, Movelland got tripped up with missing the hammer in the Spiral Cave. He unfortunately forgot that cave when it was up on Death Mountain, so he was looking for that for a really long time. But we were kind of wondering if it was going to catch up just because of how convoluted the seed was. Just like getting both of you stuck for a really long time.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous about that too, but in the back of my mind, when I found Bo, I thought in the back of my mind, I don't think the other person is going to check this for a long time. And so I felt relatively comfortable, even all the way until I was even going into the swamp to clear it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He actually still hasn't found the bow, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately, he spent quite a long time looking for that hammer. So
Although we don't technically know yet if he can actually get the small key before the bow, because I don't think the bow was locking the small key necessarily. Well, we don't really know yet.
No, it wasn't, because I'm thinking, because Swamp Small Key was in Bonk Cave. And then the boots were on Laser Bridge.
Yep. And it's just a matter of where are those Turtle Rock small keys? Because technically, by the logic, you didn't really
yeah,
have
that's
enough
true.
small keys to access it. And with one of the small keys to Turtle Rock being on Laser Bridge, that's a little concerning.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that was another gamble that I took. I was just like, I'm just gonna hope and pray. And just at least try to get to Laser Bridge. And then if there's a key and I can clear this and it's a crystal, all those unknowns, and I was just like, well.
Yeah, that worked out really nice, and especially with a lot of players opting to skip the big key chest.
that definitely saves a key there as well.
But man, that seed was not nice to either of us.
Oh, absolutely not.
I heard that you said that Cape was on pedestal.
Cape
Maybe?
was on pedestal, yes.
Okay.
It showed in your, like in the credits, the camouflage cape sleeps again forever. I don't think, oh yeah, no one found the book, and no one got all of the pendants, so there's no way to pull that quite yet.
Oh, yeah. I was fiddling with the mic instead of looking at the credits. Shame on me.
That's okay. And we still don't quite know how to finish pod either, because you only found 4 small keys, and not even the big key.
Yeah, that's why I was really hoping that pod was a pendant dungeon when I was in Schrodinger mode. And that was why I was intending to full clear swamp, because I felt in the back of my mind that this seed is trolly enough that it would be like, oh, surprise, pod big key, left side swamp, have fun.
Yeah.
I think that's about all the questions we have left. If you want to stick around and while we talk through this Moveland's searching for his pod keys and turtle walk keys and whatnot, feel free.
Yeah. I don't know how long we're actually gonna talk over this, because...
You know, we might have stuff scheduled, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
No, I'll
But-
probably duck out of here, but thank you so much for commentating for us.
Thanks
Oh,
for
sure.
racing, for sure.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming out, giving us a good show.
And another
go ahead.
shout out to the tracker for this really amazing seed.
Yeah, it was amazing, alright.
And GG everybody.
GG, thank you. Give Kepasagi a follow.
And definitely props for Moveland for sticking through this, finishing it out for the crowd, and for the fun of it. It is a really fun game, just Randomizer in general. Even if you don't necessarily beat it in like an hour and a half, like some seeds let you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially when you're pretty far behind and your opponent .duns. It's not quite happy with seeing that green pendant apparently, but yeah.
Well, it is another item that he can check. Sir Hasselhoff can very well hold the key, literally.
Yeah, he certainly can.
I think this might be the play that'll put him on track.
Yeah, possibly. If he decides it's also a good time to go into pod, that'll help him quite considerably. Well, one thing is for certain, I feel, and that's that probably not going to forget Spiral Cave ever again.
Yeah, and after 3 hours, thank goodness for compasses, right? Like, who
Yeah.
knows what you checked in the last, like, several dips into each of these dungeons.
Oh, no kidding.
I was a bit short on potion money.
No, that was not worth.
Yeah, so I guess it wasn't the play after all.
Yep. Could have skipped all that and been perfectly fine.
Still got a few other things to check. Of course, one of them being Swamp Palace. Well, no, he's got to do the pod first, that's right. At least he's in the area. Is he dipping back into Eastern?
It's hard. It's really hard to say.
Okay. If he goes into pod, he'll definitely find his progression.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's completely put Eastern out of his mind. I think he got as far as he could and realized he needs to go.
Though logically, he still doesn't have enough small keys to get to the mirror in pod. Because if you use the small key on the big key chest door, then you might be just missing the key.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what can he do that he hasn't done yet? He's up on Death Mountain. He can't quite check Turtle Rock without the Quake.
I guess he's opting to go into the Hera. This might be his first trip in here, actually.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Because it wasn't too long ago that he got the hammer, and that led him other places first.
Well, he really wants those arrows,
Yeah.
even though he's capped on them.
There's nothing, I don't think there's anything important in these first two chests, unfortunately.
I feel like this is something. Is this something? Yeah, I thought it was a big key. It's not really important right this second, but
Oh, okay. Well, I guess what those arrows do for him now is take off an item from the tracker when he does wind up finding the compass. For anyone new to the Keysanity edition of Randomizer, all of the dungeon items, such as the keys, the maps, and compasses, are now shuffled in amongst the Overworld item pools as well, or in other dungeons entirely. So, in addition to that, they decided to give the map and compasses more utility. The maps, in particular, give you the ability to determine whether or not whether a dungeon is a crystal or a pendant. The compass allows you to see how many items you've collected in each dungeon when you go inside them. And of course, keys let you open doors. What else does he have available with the? He already checked the hammer pegs, right?
Yes, he did. He did that right away, I think.
Hmm. There weren't any vanilla pod keys, were there? I don't think so.
No, I don't believe so. I believe Turtle Rock was the only vanilla small key, if memory serves.
Do you happen to remember where the third one was?
No. I'm afraid I do not.
And the bow would only unlock the Armos Knights and the pod right side.
Yeah, I want to say that Quake was on the right side of Pod, but I might be wrong. It's been quite a while.
He's at least dipped into pod once, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely. Since he had to do that to get the fire rod.
Oh, that's where Fire Rod was. Which means he has access to Mothula.
He does. He might have already been there, but I'm not sure.
That might be where one of the pod keys were, actually. He's about to get his map. I believe this was a map to Skullwoods in the second Aga Tower.
I think it's the Desert Palace map, but it's
Oh,
nothing
okay.
good. This whole tower, it's nothing
Little
good.
lunch break with a burrito here.
I could go for a burrito myself, actually.
So
And there we go.
yeah, okay, he didn't open this earlier. I see.
He might have tried to do the dark room, but
Yeah, I remember seeing him like in the southeast side of this room, just walking along the east wall, and so I'm guessing he was trying to delve deeper in, but didn't have the key to do so.
possibly yes.
Where are you gonna take us now, Melvin?
It looks like you might be going to the dig spot. Or no.
Yeah, I think the dig spot was just rupees. He's just gotta be thinking to himself right now, if I were a key, where would I be?
And I certainly thinking long and hard about that. Probably doesn't remember all the places he's actually checked. It's been quite a long seed.
And while we're here, might as well give a shout out to all the tournament organizers for running this tournament with these, what is it, 208 people signing up?
It was quite a lot of people, yes. For sure.
And there are races going on all the time on the Speed Gaming network of channels, so if you haven't already, be sure to give the Speed Gaming channels a follow. Speed Gaming 2, Speed Gaming 3, and Speed Gaming 4. And as well as a link to the what is it now? ALTTP Randomizer? Is that the channel we're using?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few of them.
There are multiple of those channels as well.
Yep. So if you like what you saw, prepare to see a lot more of it, because it's going to be on all those channels every day for a while.
And definitely shoutouts to Feasel and Mythical Man for hosting speed gaming events all the time. Like not just a link to the past randomizer, not just randomizers in general. There's like Final Fantasy randomizer, Zelda 1 randomizer, Super Metroid randomizer a while ago. They also do other speedrunning events such as let's see, there's Super Mario Odyssey going on right now, I believe. There's a Breath of the Wild tournament going on. There was an Ocarina of Time Beta Quest bingo tournament for a while. And
if you ever have any events, especially speedrunning related, that you wanna organize and just get people interested in your speedrunning community. If you have a small game that you kind of that you run and you kind of want to get more awareness for, just like give Feasel a poke, and I'm sure he'll be happy to showcase various speed games. It's a very welcoming community, and just very proud of the hobby that is speedrunning.
Yeah, one of the friendliest communities on the internet, I would say.
So I think this is pretty darn close to the play. I think it's right next to Pod.
Looks like he's trying to find his way in.
Unfortunately, he kind of, by this point, I guess he forgot that the fire rod will open up the back of Skull Woods. We found that a pretty long time ago.
Well, let's see how many keys he has when he comes in here. He has 0 keys. But he should be able to get to the mirror with no trouble, even though he has 0
Ooh.
keys.
It depends if he opened up the room to the big key chest, the vanilla big key chest, up on the top. Where you gotta bomb the left bridge and drop down and then use the key and go up for one chest. It's kind of, some runners use that as a way to kind of confirm that they're using their keys correctly, even if it's not necessarily what they need to do. Just kind of a safety measure, I think. Yeah,
I'm not sure if you can
looks
actually.
like that's what he did earlier.
I'm not sure if you can actually bomb jump there. I think you have to hover if you're gonna try that.
Yeah. I wonder if you could double bomb jump. Probably not, but it would be interesting if you could.
Yeah. I feel like he could get to maybe I'm wrong. I feel like he could get to the mirror, but I'm not sure. I can't remember.
According to the tracker at least, he's only found 2 keys, and he's used 1 key to get to this room with the 2 bridges, and he's used the second key after blowing up the left bridge. So he doesn't have any left to get to the back of Pod, where all the value is.
Oh, man. So I guess he is gonna have to go to Skullwoods.
So while we have this time, we might as well mention there is currently an issue in this current version of the randomizer, specifically for Keysanity, where it doesn't necessarily check that you have access to all of the small keys in the Palace of Darkness in order to finish the dungeon. I'm guessing that has something to do with
the fact that that locked door is that locked door requires the bow and the hammer to access. And if you have the bow and the hammer, then you have access to the rest of the chests in the dungeon, so it shouldn't be possible to key lock yourself. But if you do happen to have bow and hammer and you just go to the Helmasaur King instead of checking those chests, you might wind up in a situation where you just run out of keys. Looks like that's not going to be happening this seed, but with still a few keys left to check and still needing to go into Pod in the first place, it's a little scary right now.
I wonder where he's going now.
Like, the only potential for the softlock at this point is if one of those locations inside Palace of Darkness holds a Turtle Rock small key, and he happens to use the keys in Turtle Rock and opens the big key chest. At least he gets to play some minigames in the meantime. I personally hope he goes for the arrow, the target practice minigame.
Sadly, that doesn't actually give him an item, but I guess it's fun.
I want to see it used more. We need more entrance shuffle so we actually get to see that once.
Oh man. Now Marvel seems a little confused.
It's gotta be Skull Woods. It's just one key he needs that will give him progression. I think everything's locked behind that key right now.
Yeah, pretty much everything. It doesn't seem like that's on his mind for some reason, but okay, well, let's see it on this map.
So we see here there's Swamp Palace Crystal, unable to do. Mire Crystal, unable to do. Skull Woods, however, is bright and glowing. You know, it's kind of funny. Usually when people stop and stare at the map for a long time, the map itself doesn't really show them anything. But in this case, it actually does just, like, have this flashing signal to go to Skull Woods. But there are other flashing signals that are confusing him.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. The real question now is, how long are you prepared to sit here for?
That is a good question.
Yes, because I believe the next scheduled event on Speed Gaming 3 is in an hour and a half. Is that right? Let's see here. Yes.
Yeah, that's why we have so many channels, I guess. There are runs scheduled on 1 and 2, I don't know, maybe on 4, I'm not sure. Cabbages everywhere.
Yeah, they come out of nowhere too. It's really quite perplexing.
This is why, kids, it's very important to eat your vegetables and thin the population.
Yes. Less to fall on our heads.
What he could do while he's up here is maybe bust out his magic powder and just like, go on a nice little hunt.
For dead rocks, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Feed the wildlife.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I feel dead rocks deserve whatever they have coming. That's just one of those enemies where you have to wonder, what sadistic designer sat in his office at Nintendo and said, "Hey, I got a good idea for an enemy. It's gonna be great."
You could always talk to this little Kirby and the bully to see if you could get some information out of them. Couldn't hurt.
It couldn't hurt. Might even heal him if he has to pay for it.
So for anyone rejoining, this is Movelland still needing to find a Palace of Darkness small key in order to get the mirror. He unfortunately already used his two small keys in such a way that just did not allow him access to the back of Pod. And he still needs to check Skull Woods, which he doesn't seem to remember that he has access to now with the Fire Rod.
No, definitely props to him for keeping at it through all this time, even though it's had a little bit of difficulty here and there. Don't talk to me. Oh wow. Very threatening. I'm not actually sure what to call him. Like he unlocks a chest. What's the proper profession term for that?
Oh, that's the thief, right?
Is he a thief though?
I believe that's in the lore of A Link to the Past.
Sure, but what does he steal exactly? That's the
Clue.
question. Maybe it's a false accusation. Locksmith, maybe. Yeah, Gary is his name, but that's
Yeah.
not his profession. You can't be a Gary professionally, as far as I'm aware.
Well, cosplayers can be Garys. Like if you're for some promotional Pokemon event, maybe. Or
Like
if
Gary
you're,
Oak, I guess.
yeah, or like a stand-in for Gary Busey. I think Gary Busey himself is a professional Gary.
Well, Gary Busey's an actor, though. He's not a Gary.
But he's a Gary Busey though.
Yeah, he is.
I think acting is his secondary role. His primary being Gary Busey.
Well, I mean, I guess he does have that reputation these days. He did have that show on Comedy Central a long time ago. Now I feel old.
It's like how Dave Foley would walk around in Hollywood with a sign saying, "We'll be famous for tips."
Dave Foley is... Oh. Man,
Kids
that
in the
name.
Hall.
Yeah,
News
okay,
Radio.
yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Apparently the World Series of Poker.
Really?
I think so. I think he was a commentator on that.
Man, we got way off topic. Here we are, Ice Palace. Maybe he's thinking... Yeah, I think because the counter... Like, it's clear he missed some chests, so maybe he's thinking something's in here.
Let's hope so.
Because he did beat Cold Stare. But still, 2 chests remain here. I forget what's actually here, though.
It might have been those 2 that you need the hammer for. I remember he was in the spike room and he unfortunately died like right after getting the he did get the item in the chest with the spike room, or in the spike room, but I don't know if he got the ones, I think it's upstairs from that. It's either up or downstairs. I think it's upstairs from the hammer, from the spike room.
Yeah, IP is one of those dungeons that's just really... can be really confusing, especially in Keysanity.
There's that, the H room, as I like to call it, and then you go through an apostrophe room, and you go into like half a room.
Yeah, definitely.
I like to refer to this dungeon as Rorschach Palace sometimes, because like every room looks like something.
Yeah, I guess it does if you're looking for something. But it might be, yeah. Like, you can definitely do the bomb jump with just one heart, but you gotta be right on. Because if you fall, you're obviously gonna die.
You shouldn't need to at this point, I don't think.
I don't think that's required.
Because he's already beat Cold Stare, and he's already been to that spike room. It's shaped like a U.
It seems like he's considering his options, trying to think, what did I miss? What did I miss?
There are those 2 chests in Ice Palace, but there's also 2 locations in Skullwoods.
Well, unfortunately, says Movell did forfeit from the race. Got stuck. Unfortunately.
That's too bad.
Well, still sticking it out for such a lengthy period of time, especially when you're having trouble making progress, is really admirable. Like, I certainly don't have the patience when I play Keysanity to stick out that long. So very much props to him for giving his best on the seed.
And if you appreciate him sticking it out for so long, I recommend giving them a follow, giving them some tips on learning the randomizer, because everyone loves helping each other out. Just like, maybe we should like offer them that location tracker. Like, is that pretty common knowledge? Is that in like pinned messages or anything on Discord?
Well, I'm not sure. There's a few different trackers. Cross Products, I know, is on his Twitch page. Not to give him an instant plug.
I want to say there are resources on the various Discords.
Yeah, if you go looking for it, you'll find it. But yeah. Fortunately, that at Skullwoods.
I see him in the waiting room in the Speed Gaming.
Okay, well, if he's there, we might as well pull him in. Give him a little talk to. Okay. Hello, Mavel. GG, sorry for the forfeit.
Yeah. Not really much of a beginner-friendly seed, let's put it that way.
No, it wasn't. To be fair.
And like even if you knew where to go, it was still a pretty long seed. There was a lot of bouncing around like distant locations.
Yeah. Whoa.
Okay, well, where I think you got hung up was Skullwoods. I think the other pod key that you needed was somewhere in there in the back half.
Well, I couldn't get to it because I
Oh,
didn't
no,
actually
Bell.
have another Skullwoods key.
GG, sorry for the forfeit. You don't actually need any external keys for Skullwoods. There's a small key in a pot just before the. No, it was the outside.
Oh.
And like even if you knew where to go, it was
Oh
still a
no. Seriously?
Yeah, yep. In the room with the beetle and spikes. There's a small key in a pot, and then all you need to do is
I feel
grab
like I
that.
used that.
I would be interested to know where you used that if you did, because
Well, I guess I can check.
I want to say, I think maybe Ice Palace had another Skull Woods key actually.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You saw me attempt a few bomb jumps, but still haven't got that down yet.
yeah, it's a pretty tricky bomb jump, even if you know exactly how to do it. Very easy to take a spill, or just not be able to line it up in time.
And I think without the bomb jump, there's got to be a way to hook shot to the other rooms to get the chests in there.
Yeah, I think you can hook shot from the ice room with the traps and such.
Hmm.
It
Don't
is kind of a
remember
labyrinth.
going in here. Probably should have kept it going, to be honest. Oh god! So if the problem was Skull Woods, like I did everything I could. Like I checked the chests of Hera I could without the key. I checked Sarah Hassler, because obviously I had the pendant and stuff. Did I fake flip the hobo? No, I think I just used the flip as that. But
Yeah, flippers were actually pretty early. They were in Eastern House.
every possible location I could have checked at the time I checked, and it was just nothing.
Yeah. Fortunately, that hammer did end up being in a spot. Oh, not this room. The second half, like where the Gyptos are, and the you push the statue. The room all the way
Yeah.
to the left. There's a key in a pot in the top left corner of that room.
I didn't have a key to get into that room.
You don't actually need a key. There's a useless locked door on the top of that room, but you don't actually have to go in there.
I missed the chest. There's Quake! No! I'm done. Oh.
Oh man.
Oh.
That throws like to be honest, that would have sent you like on a even more confusing journey as well. Because
I'll tell you what, I'd have at least been able to finish it if I found that.
Yeah, I think so. And Kepasagi even still was getting pretty lost towards the end.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been doing Keysanity Rando?
Not really that long, I think since I signed up for the tournament, which was like a few days before it actually started.
I see. Well, you actually did keep pace with Kepasagi for a bit there until you got stuck on the hammer. Like, yeah, they weren't actually making a whole lot of progress themselves because of the way the sea was laid out.
He never actually found powder either.
No, he didn't.
And somehow I found it, but couldn't find mushroom.
Yeah, neither
nobody
did he.
Yeah, that was probably with the other fetch quest items, probably somewhere in G2, which we didn't check at all.
Oh,
We found
Oh,
out Cape
no.
was on pedestal.
right, well... I have Quake now, so... I guess I could finish this seed off if I wanted to, at some point.
Yeah,
But it's a trip.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
It might make for some good practice, just like, I don't know, like brain aerobics, I guess, like brain stretching.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing all the other practices for. Just to, try and get a route.
This was
But
a
when-
pretty crazy seed. It's interesting to watch.
yeah. Keysanity is even worse than normal rando. I don't know if
It
you've,
was horrible to play, but it was so interesting to just see all the items that we got at the start. Like, we barely got anything, and then few places were actually really good.
Yeah. Well, you did a really good job sticking it out until until it got stuck. So I want to give you props for that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
great work. And if you don't want to play it, you could always watch it back and see, like, how Kepasagi got through it and how frequently he got stuck as well. So you weren't alone, that's for sure.
Well, I'm still gonna play the other 3 matches, so
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean,
see how it goes.
this
Hopefully
will
there'll be better seeds.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, only 8 people are actually getting to a bracket, as far as I'm aware. So, I mean, you might as well play them all. This is just for fun anyway, and it's a good
Yeah.
way to learn the mode. So, you got any thoughts?
Yeah. Check every hole of Skull Woods.
Not a bad idea.
I don't care how many times you have to revisit that forest, just check every hole. It will pay off.
Yeah, being thorough is always a pretty good idea, I would say.
Mm.
Do you use any like tracker, like a map tracker at all, or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got a map tracker, but obviously it can't help me track everything. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Every
that
hole.
particular chest, I think that one always has a small key to Skull Woods, so it might not be on the tracker. I'm not sure.
I mean, this one shows all the chests for
Okay.
every location, but it doesn't show where they are in the dungeon. It just shows like which dungeon they're in.
Yeah, you'll probably have to get used to figuring out where everything is just through practice. If you go to Mike's RPG something, there's a bunch of maps for all the dungeons as well. That can be helpful.
It helped me figure out the Eastern Palace dark room because I was stuck in there for quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
And even then, I found out. Oh wait, I forgot. I need bows to defeat this thing. So
Yep.
I'm like,
Would you like to know where Bo was?
did he find the? Well, should I? Yeah, what the hell? Where was it?
It was in Swamp Palace, first chest.
Really?
Yep. Coincidentally, he happened
I'm gonna
to go
have to
in there
start renaming that
forgetting-
troll palace. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
He totally forgot he didn't have the key, and he just waddled in and saw that the chest didn't have the small key, but it did have the bow.
Wow. I couldn't even get the small chest because I didn't have the mirror.
Oh, you want to know where Mira was?
Let me guess, in Skull Woods?
Not quite, no.
Okay.
It was in Pod.
Oh. I only had 2 keys for Pog. Didn't know where they were. Hmm.
Yeah, I think one of the pod keys were in Skullwoods. I
Yeah.
forget. You'll have to watch back the VOD to be sure. It was a really long, confusing seed.
That was the exact opposite of a jet seed. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
thanks.
Well,
thanks for
thanks for playing.
thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, no problem. If you liked Movel's tenacity, definitely give them a follow. I think that'll about do it for us. I want to thank the Restream, Speed Gaming, Feasel. I want to thank the tracker, Mathker, who stepped out a little bit ago, but they definitely did put a lot of work in their race. Give them a follow. And I want to thank my co-commentator, the Speed Gamers. It was a lot of fun commentating this race with you, Eden.
Same.
Yeah, so give him a follow. And I think that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching. If you've been watching this whole time, I love you. And we'll see. We'll come back again in an hour for another tournament race. And we'll see you next time. Have a good night.
Bye.